my friends, and welcome to the Weekly Roundup, where we discuss just a fraction of all the insanity that's taken place in the world each week. Our top story today, a Paralympian claims Canada offered to euthanize her when she asked for a stairlift. A Paralympic Army veteran stunned lawmakers in Canada when she claimed that a government official had offered to give her euthanasia equipment while fighting to have a wheelchair lift installed in her home. I have a letter saying that if you're so desperate, madam, we can offer you medical assistance in dying. Oh, okay, from destroy the economy to save grandma, to kill grandma if saving her is no longer economically viable. All in under a year. Now, if you think that's bad, check this out. In order to be euthanized in Germany, you have to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Because they want to make sure if they're going to waste their time and resources putting you down, that you've at least exhausted all of your options first. Grandma, the doctor says you have diabetes, so we're going to have to replace the sugar in your morning coffee with rat poison. Grandmas aren't the only beings in desperate need of extermination these days. New York City posts a job seeking a rat czar to tame city's rodent problem. The administration of New York City Mayor Eric Adams has listed a new job for a rat czar to tame the infamous rodent problem in the Big Apple. The posting, which was made Wednesday, is officially seeking a director of rodent migration who will work to advance the city's effort to address policy matters in the 5 boroughs related to curbing the recent increase of rats during the COVID-19 pandemic. But if the mayor of New York eliminates all the rats that migrated over during the pandemic, who's gonna vote for him in the next election? A group of journalists gathered together on Thursday to publicly discuss a rise in online hate toward journalists, and the results were just as hilarious as you'd imagine. After kicking the event off by, of course, acknowledging that we live on stolen land, the CBC director, a probably childless elderly woman with an unnatural shade of red hair, followed up by equating mean tweets to raping children.
We're encouraging police across the country to treat online abuse the same way they treat child pornography.
So you want them to ignore it completely? A self-proclaimed anti-racism expert then piped in with some wildly racist remarks.
I make it a point not to, when I'm doing a story or when I'm seeking experts, I do not seek white men.
And finally, my favorite moment of the event, when Toronto star Saba Idizes discussed a now infamous newspaper cover about the Canadian public's growing lack of empathy for the unvaccinated. Idizes argues that the journalist who wrote the piece was unfairly targeted, as the snippet printed to the front page was taken out of context. The cover reads as follows: "If an unvaccinated person catches it from someone who is vaccinated, boo-hoo, too bad. I have no empathy left for the willfully unvaccinated. Let them die. I honestly don't care if they die from COVID, not even a little bit. Unvaccinated patients do not deserve ICU beds."
All of the things that those medical experts and people who were talking about anti-vaccinated vaxxers was put up, like the quotes were put up as a design choice. And that journalist, the story was taken completely out of context. That was journalist as a racialized journalist. She was bombarded for weeks with hate, with vitriol, with the worst kind of abuse.
What she failed to mention was that the inflammatory quotes used in the article were all taken from tweets that had little to no traction at the time, meaning the journalist intentionally fabricated the quote simmering divide between vaccinated and unvaccinated Canadians. The first quote on the page belongs to this tweet posted on August 24th, 2021. It has 2 replies and 0 likes. The third quote was posted on August 24th, 2021. It has 1 reply and 0 likes. And the winning quote with the most traction was this one: "Unvaccinated COVID patients do not deserve ICU beds. I said what I said, smiley face." It received a whopping 1 retweet and 7 likes. Why did they decide this tweet had enough reach to be front page worthy consensus of a simmering divide? Just what in the heck was the Toronto Star's intention with this front page? Because it certainly appears to be deliberate. It really isn't fair how we treat these journalists. I mean, sure, they may all be full of shit, but it turns out that being full of shit might just mean you're a supernatural being. That's right, a wild new theory suggests that IBS may be a form of gravity intolerance. I got your results. It turns out You have irritable bowel syndrome. Oh my god, really? Do I need to start medication or change my diet? Oh no, it has nothing to do with your diet. You're missing Uranus. I'm missing my anus? No, not your anus, Uranus. The planet. It's a gravity intolerance. But I hope Elon gets us to space soon, huh? I'm just kidding. You'll be dead in 5 years. Can I offer you euthanasia? While we're on the topic of brain-dead doctors, a third-year med student by the name of Bronte Remzik recently joined Michael Knowles for a friendly debate on abortion, where she shared these grossly misleading images from The Guardian of a human fetus at 10 weeks of pregnancy. Yeah, you see this disintegrating piece of toilet paper floating around in a clean petri dish? The Guardian and now medical students are trying to pass this off as a human baby. Hold on, because it gets much worse. In a stunning and unintentional admission of ignorance, she then made the absolutely unbelievable claim that a 10-week-old fetus is microscopic.
You're not showing people a picture of a fetus. You're showing people a picture of a gestational sac that's been expelled with a tiny fetus. If you wanted to show people what a fetus looks like at the age of 10 weeks in gestation, you would show them the fetus itself, and you would have to zoom in because it's a very tiny
You would
little
have
guy.
to use a microscope
Well, we have
in order
microscopes.
to
You know,
see
this
it.
is-
Of course, just a quick Google search or peek at your favorite pregnancy app will tell you that a fetus at 10 weeks is 3.5 centimeters long, or around the size of a prune. On a scale from 1 to 10, how scared are you knowing that our future doctors believe 1.5 inches is microscopic? Personally, I'm Deliverance pig scene scared. President Zelenskyy has won Time magazine's Person of the Year, beating out the protesters of Iran, the US Supreme Court, and China's communist leader, Xi Jinping. You know, I'm pretty surprised by the nominees because I thought it was a clear contest between the Oakville teacher with giant prosthetic boobs and Harvey Weinstein's genitals. I don't really have any reason for bringing up this next story other than the fact that I read it, it made me throw up, and now I want you guys to suffer too. Harvey Weinstein's deformed genitals could be a deciding factor in his LA rape trial. In his opening statement, Deputy District Attorney Paul Thompson said each of the victims, 4 Jane Does linked to the felony charges and 4 prior bad act witnesses, would not be able to describe Weinstein's anatomy perfectly, but they would all note unique things about Weinstein's genitalia. What I'm referring to is the result of a surgery that the defendant had in 1999. Thompson told the jury as 70-year-old Weinstein shook his head. Because of an infection, his testicles were actually taken from his scrotum and put into his inner thighs. Yeah! This motherfucker's got thigh testicles, and this is the first time I'm hearing of this? These people are sick. Kanye West appeared on the Alex Jones show this week, officially bringing his most recent psyop to a close. Of course, everyone had their own hot takes on the entire fiasco, but comedian Andrew Schulz made a point that really stood out to me.
The thing about Kanye is that, like, none of these ideas are his own. Like, Kanye is just finding out that he's not as good a producer of intellectual thought as he is of music. What he's always done is just sampled things, and that's what a great producer will do. He'll be like, ooh, that sound is really great. That sound is really great. And when I blend them together, I can make some of the greatest music ever. But now he's doing that with rhetoric, and he's just trying to get attention, which is what he did obviously with music. And it's just not, he's not good enough at it. He's not good enough at making these things cool. He can make music cool. He can take music you would think you would never listen to and put it together, and you go, holy shit, this is a masterpiece. He's not good enough at talking to make the things that he says cool.
Wow, it took Schulz almost a full minute to articulate that Kanye West is inarticulate. Oddly enough, that's the exact amount of time it takes him to define irony. I'm just kidding, he's absolutely right, but the part he missed was this. Kanye West has shifted into focus precisely because he's incapable of persuading anyone with his words. You see, the purpose of controlled opposition is to lump factual information in with nonsense. So when you want to run a global sex trafficking ring, you install this guy as the leader of your opposition. And when you want to keep your identity concealed, you hide where no one ever seems to look. Behind this.
Hey, yay, right after this, I'm gonna say you're crazy. I'm gonna take your family away from you. We're not done with you yet. You cannot cause free thought. We have to control the history books, we have to control the banks, and we have to go and kill people. Also, we're in the pedophilia.
Alright guys, that's it for me today. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out these other videos on my channel. I will see you all next Friday for the next weekly roundup. Bye! Director James Cameron claims testosterone is a toxin that you have to slowly work out of your system. I knew a guy in high school who had testosterone toxicity. It was terrible. His whole body was covered in pussy.